Hello everybody, wanted to show you the new inhabitants of this tank. Now, I started slow because this is all they had at the shop. Now these are, anybody know? I bet you guys know. These are tiger barbs. These are albino tiger barbs, and they are a strain locally bred. I got them at Sierra Pets, but they tend to be small. These ones tend to be smaller. They had some electric green local ones that were $17 a piece, but they were really stunning. They were blue and green with the stripes. They weren't just like a big blob of green on the side of them like most are. But these ones will get 2 to 3 inches, I'm told, and not much bigger, and aren't quite as, how do you say, girthy, I suppose, as other tiger barbs. I guess something about the melanistic. They're not actually albino, they're melanistic. So in fish where you see the blue eyes, that's actually usually a form of melanism, which means that it may be a trait that controls pigment in their skin, but it doesn't, like melanin, for instance, which that's what gives, African American or African or Aboriginal Australians, that's what gives them darker skin is, the pigmentation in their skin is melanin. So they've got a bunch of melanin in their skin. Northern Europeans, some Northern Asians, we don't have it so much, and that's why we burn in the sun. So in the wild, this may not be the best adaptation. They may stand out, they may get eaten, they may even get sunburn. Yes, fish tan and get sunburn, believe it or not. But these guys are from Southeast Asia, and I think they extend into Cambodia and Bangladesh and Malaysia, all down that big peninsula in there. But they are a really fun fish. They're really curious. These ones are pretty young. They're about an inch long. And they are definitely a shoaling fish that could be a schooling fish. If you have like 12 or 15, they start exhibiting more schooling than shoaling. Schooling is when any fish can take over and they all kind of move as one unit together. Shoaling is, I have a whole video on this, but shoaling tends to be they can all go off and feed, but when they get scared, they'll come back together. That being said, we have a few odd issues going on in this tank, which make this an experiment that I'm watching closely all evening. The first oddball, yeah, you remember him, Sergio. So Sergio is over here. Come on, turn, Sergio. He is my 6.5, 7-inch tall angelfish that actually I moved out of this tank because we got new angelfish in here. They're going to be smaller, and we're going to let them grow up and pair off together. I love this fish. If I can find another one ever, I will. I'm told that some of the yellow may fade into a bronze as it gets older, but those yellow, just those yellow highlights, and then the red and the pink and the orange, man, just everything about this fish is just gorgeous. All the fins are perfect. And, I'm watching those fins closely for any sort of nibbles or whatever. But Sergio is just too violent. He's too violent for all these little angels that are younger. Here you can see there's protein on top of the water. We'll talk about that soon, but it's partially because of the light that you're seeing it, and partially because of feeding and not dialing in quite yet what everybody's eating in this tank. But I thought about putting the barbs in here, and then I thought pretty quickly, well, once they get to 2 inches, they will probably start acting like this is a fishing lure. Every point on them is a fishing lure. And it's probably a really good thing I did that, because going back to them, looks like they found their little niche. We once had pea puffers in here, and everybody said, that's not going to work. It's not going to work. You can't keep pea puffers in a 40-gallon tall tank with cribs and angels. It's absurd. Well, it did. It's planted very heavily. And here's Sergio. I want to get Sergio a new tank, and I also want him to be able to mate. Now, he has killed 2 of his mates, so I need to get him in the hands of, like, Master Breeder Dean. If you're out there, if you're listening, I'd love it if you want to include him into your, koi angel breeding program or some of your wild fish. That would be cool. Also, Steve and Mark, 2 local guys in my club, have a large selection of angelfish and they breed them. That's an option too. Other than that, though, the cribs should be hanging out low and still able to breed. And while these guys are young, they are messing a little bit with the endlers, especially if they have any leer tail or lyre tail, as it's actually pronounced. So that's one little quirky thing that I'm watching also, is that they're not beating up on other small fish. But so far, Sergio came over and tried to eat one of them or bite one of them, and one of them bit his lip really hard to the point where he ran away. So if these little guys can scare Sergio into the corner over here, sorry about that glare, maybe they'll be able to hold their own. Side note too, see, we've got some algae growing. It's because I took out a lot of plants from this tank and put them into my new tank. I've thrown the equilibrium off. The plants in here are like Anubias and Bucephalandra and Java Fern. They're low maintenance, low light plants, and basically I need to, and Corkscrew Val and Crips. I need to get some nitrate sucking plants in here quick, ASAP, and then that'll help clear that up. I threw the balance off though. So we'll do that. We'll get some fish that will eat the algae in here also. And then we're going to try to find Sergio a fitting home for such a beautiful boy. Over here, if these guys work out, if they don't attack every little baby in the tank, and if the cribs don't beat them up too bad, because cribs can have attitude also, then I am going to try to switch out most of these other little fish first for available bioload, and I think we'll try to do like 12 or 15 of these guys and just really watch that schooling behavior, because of the contrast with that white, and that pinkish orange is just beautiful against that green. You really see it. They've got an interesting kind of bold shape, like a tetra or something, and I really like that. I'll probably try to do a mini tank downstairs, like pull out everything out of one of the 20 longs, and maybe we'll do a tetra tank down there that's more suited towards colony breeding of tetras. Also, these endlers are my mismatch endlers. They're kind of oddballs that I didn't have the heart to flush or whatever, put in with someone who's super mean, like the Honduran red points or puffers at other points when they were young, or betas, gouramis, so forth. So we will see what happens here, but hopefully, I don't know, I'd love to have these guys. I would really love it if they stay small. I wanted to get maybe some gold barbs or rosy barbs at first, but these guys were on sale. They caught my eye, and hopefully I can get a hold of, with the information I have, I can get a hold of the person who bred them locally and get some more. So that's the deal. They are pretty bulletproof as far as the conditions they live in. You can keep them anywhere from 6.6 or 6.5 all the way to 8.4 pH. TDS doesn't seem to matter. Temperature, they can stay from anywhere from 72 all the way up to like 86. So you can put them with angels, or you can put them with, white clouds or CPDs or whatever you want. There's Sergio coming back over. And yeah, they're really interesting. They're pretty social, and they eat a lot. They eat a lot, and they can poop a lot. So they do a fair amount of bio waste, which is also why I want to keep that in mind. I want to keep that in mind and pull out some of the other extra fish that maybe don't need to be in there. Now, how I'm going to catch things like the 6 neon green tetras that are left, that's another thing. Maybe we'll make a bottle trap. I'll show you that again or something. And usually I'd quarantine them, but I know the guy who bred these bred a lot of other really beautiful fish in the store. Everything was doing well. And some of them were in their own tank over a month ago and when I did the filming at the store. So I think they'll be all right. If anything, I might have to deworm the whole tank again because 1 or 2 of the tetras seem to have kind of sunken bellies. Not necessarily worms, but it could be a parasite, or it could just be a malnutrition thing. It could be an organ failure type thing. There are quite a few fish in here still, even if you don't see them all. There's still a handful of just random fish in here, plus the 6 cribs. And that algae starting, like I said, I want to get the tank back balanced. I'm probably going to build a little shelf right here or move the big stone rock that goes up very high. Move it over there. This shelf can continue to get light with all my starts. And that's kind of the plan. There's still caves and hiding spots. My pleco, my leopard frog pleco, still doing super well in there. I think they would look incredible together. If we could get the leopard frog pleco, like if we could get a few of those in there with these guys, oh, great time. So check out this setup. Let me know what you think about it. Am I crazy? Are they going to get torn apart? Or do you think I can keep just enough tension in the tank that the little guys are running around, but they're quick? These guys are quick enough to get away from the cribs and the angel or hold their own. And there's enough of them that they'll bug each other rather than the little guys. It's a very fine balancing act, I know. And I don't say do what I'm doing. Definitely, I'm not saying that. This is an experiment, and the fish are most important. So we will pull the plug on the experiment if I notice anything more than a little nip. If I start seeing fins with problems or stressed out behavior, then we'll change it up. But more to come on breeding and so forth, and even more on the history of this species and how breeders have been tailoring them into all sorts of different cool combinations and beautiful styles. Please like, subscribe, give that thumbs up. If you stuck around this long, you know you want to. And if you want a shirt with some of these cool fish on it, or a steampunk style, you know, shrimp or pleco or CPD, that kind of thing, check out the link to the Teespring. You can check out the link to the Patreon, and that is what keeps new and interesting things, plants, animals, fish, and equipment coming in for the kind of do-it-yourself mix of home, aquaria, do-it-yourself, and, you know, some of my stuff now is getting a little more high-tech, so we can also dial that in. It's just in the past I didn't have the resources for it specifically, and that's changing when you guys support the channel and when you guys share videos and watch, like, leave a comment. So thank you so much for what you guys do. I will talk to you later. Take care of your critters, take care of the people around you, and also obviously take care of yourself, because you can't do the first 2 without the last one. So get on board. If we all do that, I think life will be pretty sweet. Talk to you guys later. Swim on.